Welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful and honestly misunderstood images in the Zohar, a simple stone, a well, and the secret cosmic engine they represent.
You know, this verse right here from Genesis, it seems so simple, right? Just a description of shepherds watering their flocks. But what if I told you that hidden in this pastoral line is a profound cosmic secret, a blueprint for how divine energy, blessing, and life itself flows into our world, and maybe more importantly, why most of the time it feels blocked?
I want you to really try and picture this scene, not just as a story, but as a living, breathing spiritual reality. Imagine a field, right at dusk. There's this tension in the air, a feeling of restraint. You can just sense this incredible potential, something powerful waiting just under the surface, but it's held in this state of perfect, coiled stillness. And right in the center of that field, there's a well. But this isn't just some hole in the ground. The Zohar tells us its waters are literally glowing with a faint inner light. This is the bier, the well, the very connection point between the upper worlds and our world. It's the designated port for all divine abundance to enter our reality.
And sitting on top of it, a huge stone. It's massive, it's cold, it's heavy. And it acts as this incredibly powerful seal, holding everything in a state of potential, but not yet manifest. It's a boundary, it's a lock. It's a necessary part of how reality is built.
And then things start to happen. Three distinct forces, which the Torah describes as three flocks of sheep, they start to gather right at this spot. And they're not there by accident, no. They are drawn to this one single point of access, to this sealed well, because they are the ones who hold the keys to opening it.
Okay, so let's get into it. Here's the journey we're about to take. We're going to start with the simple story, the literal meaning. Then, we'll decode its secret cosmic blueprint. From there, we'll explore the exact mechanics of how this divine flow is released, and then we'll see how this applies to engineering our own souls. And finally, we'll get to the most shocking part, the reason why the stone has to be put back.
So, first things first, we have to really understand the symbols in the story itself, in their most direct context. Because if we don't get that, we have no chance of unlocking their hidden, mystical meaning. All right, so the story in Genesis 29 is our launch pad. You've got Jacob, he's on the run from his brother, and he arrives in this new land, Haran. He finds a well, the life source of the whole community, but it's totally blocked by a massive stone. He sees three flocks of sheep just kind of waiting around, and the local shepherds tell him, look, here's the rule. We can only roll the stone away when all the flocks are here. It's an all-or-nothing group effort. But then Jacob sees Rachel, and he's filled with this sudden burst of inspiration, and he just rolls this massive stone away all by himself. So you have a journey, a meeting place, a blockage, and a key to release.
But here's where the Zohar steps in and asks us to look way, way deeper. What if this isn't just a charming little pastoral scene? The Kabbalists teach that every single physical detail in the Torah, every rock, every sheep, every person, is just a garment for a much deeper spiritual reality. This story, you see, isn't really about watering sheep. It's a schematic for watering the entire cosmos.
So, how do we actually translate this scene into a cosmic blueprint? Let's start decoding the symbols. We're about to pull back the curtain on the hidden architecture of reality itself. Okay, this slide right here, this is basically our Rosetta Stone for the whole story. It's the decoder ring. The well, it turns out, is Malchut, the kingdom. The stone is Din, or harsh judgment. And those three flocks? They are the three lines, the primary pillars of the spiritual worlds. So let's break that down. The well, the beer, represents Malchut. This is the 10th and lowest of the Sephirot. It's our physical world, the kingdom, the divine presence, as it actually shows up in our reality. The best way to think of it is as the ultimate destination, the vessel that was specifically designed to receive and hold all the divine blessing and energy, the shefa, that flows down from above. Now, this is a really crucial point. Our world, Malchut, is by default covered by this stone, the even, and this stone symbolizes the force of Din, strict, harsh judgment. It's the cosmic principle of limitation, of concealment, of boundaries. The Zohar actually describes it as a layer of frozen ice over the living waters of the well, holding everything in a state of constriction. And this isn't a mistake or a flaw. This is the baseline operating state of our reality.
And what about the three flocks? Well, they're not just waiting around. They are the active forces, the spiritual shepherds that are required to move the stone. They represent the three fundamental pillars of the Sephirotic tree. You've got the right line of chesed, or kindness, which is connected to Abraham. The left line of Gevarah, or judgment, connected to Isaac. And the central line of Tiferet, or harmony, which is Jacob himself. All right, so now we have the blueprint, and we know the cast of characters. Let's dig into the really exciting part, the dynamic process, the engine of cosmic flow. How exactly is this stone of judgment rolled away to let the waters of life surge through?
The process, as you can see, is incredibly precise. First, look at step 1, the gathering. Just like in the story, all three flocks, all three lines, have to be there. You can't get flow with just kindness or just judgment. The system demands wholeness. Then step 2, the activation. The right line of chesed, that expanse of love and kindness, is deliberately awakened. It starts to pour into the system. Now pay close attention to step 3 because this is so important. This flood of kindness doesn't shatter the stone of judgment, it sweetens it. It transforms its harsh, restrictive quality into a positive, disciplined structure. In step 4, the unification, the central line, Tiferet, comes in to integrate the now softened judgment and the expanse of kindness, creating perfect balance. And finally, step 5, the release. When that perfect harmony is achieved, the stone is just effortlessly rolled away, and the divine flow, the Shepha, surges from the well of Malchut, watering all the worlds.
You see, the whole dynamic is really about the interplay between these two fundamental opposites. On one side, you've got the right line, chesed. Its quality is expansive, giving love. Kabbalists even associate it with the color white, loven, for pure mercy. And on the other side, you have the left line, Gevorah. Its quality is restrictive, disciplined severity. Its color is red, Adam, like the fire of strict judgment. The whole process is about introducing the expansive white light of love to soften or sweeten the intense red fire of limitation.
We can actually visualize this, as you see on the chart, as a huge shift in the cosmic energy balance. The default state of our world, Malchut, is dominated by the red of harsh din. But when the process begins, that second slice shows the white light of chesed pouring in, starting to balance out the red. And when that unification is achieved through Tiferet, you get that final state. A perfectly balanced, harmonious, almost prismatic state, where the life-giving waters can finally flow free.
Now, I know this can sound a bit abstract, but we can actually understand this ancient system through a really modern lens. Think of it like a secure computer network.
This analogy really illustrates the point perfectly. The Stone of Din is like a cosmic firewall. By default, it's throttling the bandwidth of divine energy to maintain system stability and prevent an overload. Our world, Malchut, is the end-user system, waiting for the data, the Shefa. So the three flocks, they're basically a multi-factor authentication protocol. You can't get in with just one key. You need the kindness of chesed as your primary password. You need the discipline of Gevurah as, say, a biometric scan. And you need the harmony of Tiferet as the final authorization code that integrates them both. Only when all three are entered correctly does the firewall open the port. See, the system isn't broken. It's secure by design.
So why does any of this matter to us? Well, because this huge cosmic drama isn't just happening out there, in some heavenly realm. The Zohar is clear. This is the exact blueprint for our own inner psychological and spiritual work. The macrocosm is perfectly reflected in the microcosm of the human soul.
On a personal level, this cosmic blueprint becomes the ultimate heroic quest. Think of it as the quest for your own soul.
So here's the game. Your goal is to access the sealed well of life that's inside you so you can level up your soul. The main obstacle? The well is blocked by the ancient stone of trials, which is just a cool name for all your inner blockages, your fears, your bad habits. To move it, you've got to find and unite three special power-ups. The power of giving, Kesed, is charged up by performing acts of kindness. The power of focus, Gevurah, is mastered through discipline and self-control. And the power of truth, Tiferet, is unlocked by living with integrity, which is what harmonizes the other two. When you combine all three, the stone rolls away and you unlock your full potential.
Okay, so putting the video game controller down for a second, we can look at this as a very sophisticated model for engineering our own inner world. The sources are incredibly direct about this. They tell us that the cosmic stone has a direct parallel inside of us. It is our Lev Ha'even, our heart of stone. It's the sum total of our psychological blocks, our past traumas, our cynicism, and all those harsh, restrictive judgments we have against ourselves and against other people. This is basically a manual for self-transformation. Your inner well, that's your deepest potential for love, creativity, and joy. Your stone? That's the voice of self-criticism, the fear that holds you back, the rigidity in your thinking. So how do you roll it away? First, you have to consciously activate chesed. You have to practice compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. This is the absolute key. You then use that compassion to sweeten your inner din, your harsh self-judgment, transforming it from a crippling block into a healthy boundary. Finally, you achieve Tiferet by living in an integrated, authentic way. And the result of all that work? The flow. You experience authentic self-expression, a surge of inspiration, and real, meaningful connection.
But there's one last, profound twist to this whole story, and it reveals the system's ultimate wisdom. Because after the sheep are watered, the story tells us, the stone is put back. And you have to ask yourself, this is probably the biggest question in this whole process. If the flow is so good, so life-giving, so amazing, why on earth would the shepherds, or the cosmos, put that heavy stone of judgment back on the well? The answer reveals the crucial difference between a controlled, life-giving flow and just destructive chaos.
The answer lies in a concept called Gavulat, which means sacred boundaries. The Kabbalistic sources teach that structure, limits, and definition are absolutely necessary for a functional world. A world without din, without boundaries, isn't a world of infinite kindness. It's a world of total chaos. Think about it. A river without banks isn't a river. It's a flood that destroys everything in its path.
And this is maybe the ultimate takeaway from this whole thing. The stone of judgment and the boundaries it represents, it's not a flaw in the system that needs to be permanently fixed. It is the system. Din isn't the enemy of chesed. It's the vessel that contains it, shapes it, and allows it to be beneficial instead of just overwhelming. The spiritual cosmos, just like our own heartbeat, just like our own breath, operates in a necessary cycle, a rhythm of two states. There is a time for revelation, a time to open the flow, and there is a time for concealment, a time to close it. Expansion and contraction, giving and containing. This rhythm is life itself.
So, true spiritual mastery isn't about smashing the stone and leaving the well permanently open. It's about learning the dance. It's about knowing when to gather the flocks, how to unify the forces inside yourself to roll that stone away, to drink deeply and give drink to others, and then knowing when to respectfully return the stone to its place, ensuring a sustainable, balanced, and healthy flow of life for yourself and for the entire world.
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes.
We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. And we leave you with this question. What stone in your own life needs not to be shattered, but to be sweetened? We'll see you in the next chapter.